information more quickly, more efficiently. And it got me thinking, like, could the key to unlocking that superpower be sleep?
It's funny you should mention that, actually. You might be onto something. We often think of sleep as this passive state, like our brain just switches off.
Yeah.
But in this deep dive, what you'll find is it's way more dynamic than that.
Yeah, that's exactly what intrigued me when I saw this research you sent over. We're diving deep into sleep, but not just how rested it makes us feel. It's more about two really important areas: our cognitive function, which I know for you is huge, and our immune health.
And you'd be surprised the connections there are really deep.
Okay, so no more thinking about sleep is just hitting the off switch. It's more like, I don't even know, imagine a city at night. Like on the surface, yeah, it's quieter, but there's a ton of work happening that you don't see during the day. Repairs, construction, cleanup.
Oh, that is a great analogy.
Yeah.
Because while we sleep, our brains are actually super busy processing information, making memories stick, even fine-tuning our emotions.
So not just filing away facts, but like making sense of them, those connections that make learning actually work.
Yeah. And there was one study, it was in Nature, I know you flagged this one, that showed that if you're sleep deprived, your capacity for new memories drops by almost 40%.
Wow.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's almost like your brain's inbox is totally full, and until you sleep to clear it out, it can't process new messages.
40%, that's wild. That's like trying to download, I don't know, a movie on dial-up. Everything just slows to a crawl.
Exactly, exactly. And it's not just memory either. Sleep is huge for emotional processing. During REM sleep, the part of our brain that handles our emotions that goes into overdrive helps us process, make sense of our day.
So that's why I'm such a grouch when I don't sleep. I knew there had to be a reason, like scientifically, why I was so grumpy in the mornings. My emotional processor is busted.
Well, you can think of it that way, but really this emotional processing, it's essential. If we don't have it, we're way more prone to stress, more anxiety, those big over-the-top reactions.
Right. Okay. So we're talking about sleep being this crazy active time for our brains. But what about physically? One of the articles mentioned the brain clearing out toxins during sleep. Is that what they meant by detox?
Oh, absolutely. Your brain makes a lot of waste throughout the day, one being this protein called beta amyloid, and that's been linked to Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and research shows that while you're sleeping, your brain actually flushes those toxins out like a cleaning crew comes in at night and tidies everything up. And this is fascinating. That process is most effective during deep sleep.
So deep sleep is like the brain's power cleaning cycle. Man, and here I was thinking I was so cool for functioning on barely any sleep. This is like that's doing myself a huge disservice. But let's get specific. What's actually happening in a sleep-deprived brain?
Imagine trying to, I don't know, focus on a presentation, but there's construction going on right outside your window. That's kind of what it's like for your brain when you're sleep deprived. All those cognitive functions, attention, working memory, even decision-making, they all suffer.
Mm. Hmm. So it's not just me feeling foggy, like my brain actually slows down.
It's not just a feeling, no.
Yeah.
Researchers at UPenn actually found that even missing one night of sleep can really mess with your ability to focus, to process information. They even saw, like, measurable slowdown in brain activity, especially in the areas we use for attention, for higher level thinking.
Wow, that's kind of scary, honestly. And, we were talking about absorbing new knowledge. That's got to be a huge barrier.
Absolutely, like trying to fill a bucket that's got holes in it. You keep putting stuff in,
Mm.
but it's not staying put. And that affects everything from how much you get done at work to like making good decisions in everyday life.
Makes you wonder how much we're all missing out on as a society because we're just constantly sleep deprived. But you said earlier that sleep doesn't just impact our brains, it's also our immune system. And I swear, I always get sick more easily when I haven't been sleeping. Is that a thing, or am I imagining it?
Oh, you're not imagining it. There's definitely a link. When we think immune system, we think like viruses, bacteria, but there's a lot going on under the hood. And one of the big players is this group of proteins called cytokines.
Cytokines, right, right. They're like our body's little defense system.
Exactly. Little soldiers fighting off infection. And here's where sleep comes in. Our bodies are best at making these cytokines when we're asleep, especially during deep sleep.
Hold on. So if I'm not sleeping enough, I'm basically sending my immune system into battle short-staffed.
Pretty much. And the longer that goes on, the harder it is for your body to catch up, to replenish those cytokine soldiers. It's like trying to win a war when you're outnumbered.
Wow, okay. You know what's weird? I read that people often get sick after they've been sleep deprived, not just during. It's like our body gives us a break, and then bam, we're down for the count. What's the deal with that?
That's a really interesting point, and researchers have actually been looking into that. Seems that when we're super stressed or we're not sleeping, our bodies kind of hit the brakes on our immune response. It's a way of conserving energy.
So it's like our body's going, all right, I got to prioritize here. Keeping the lights on is more important than a sniffle for now.
Exactly. Problem is, that delayed immune response, it catches up. Usually right when we finally let ourselves rest, like it was holding its breath, and then as soon as we relax, boom, time for a sick day.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so we've covered that sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's crucial for like literally how our brains work and how we fight off getting sick. So how do we actually make it a priority? Because knowing is one thing, doing is another. It's like we're always trying to hack productivity, but maybe the real hack is just sleeping enough.
I think you're really onto something. All the research says the same thing. If we improve our sleep, even just a little, it can make a big difference in how well our brains work and just our overall well-being. It's about
Yeah.
working smarter, not harder.
Mm.
Right. And that starts with giving our bodies the rest they need.
So where do we start? What can our listener actually do to like improve their sleep hygiene?
Well, we were just talking about maximizing learning, so let's start with getting on a consistent sleep schedule. I know, it sounds basic, but our bodies really like routine. If we go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, even on weekends, it's like we're training our internal clock.
Right. So it's not just how many hours we get, it's when we get them.
Yeah.
Our bodies like that predictability. What else can we do to make the most of that sleep time?
Having a relaxing bedtime routine is huge. Think of it as like sending a signal to your mind and body that it's time to chill out. Dimming the lights, maybe a warm bath, reading, some calming music, anything to de-stress and disconnect from the day.
It's funny you should mention the lights. One of those articles you sent talked about blue light and how it messes with sleep. What's up with that?
Oh, right. Our phones, laptops, all those devices, they give off this blue light, and it actually stops our bodies from producing melatonin, and that's key for regulating our sleep-wake cycle. Even if you think you fall asleep fine after scrolling through your phone, that blue light could be messing with how well you're actually sleeping, without you even realizing it.
So it's about the quality of sleep we're getting, not just how long it takes to fall asleep. Is there like a magic time to disconnect from all that?
Ideally, at least an hour before bed, no screens. I know, it's tough these days, but think of it as a gift to your brain. Time to unwind, let those melatonin levels naturally rise, get your body ready for good sleep.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've got our sleep schedule, our bedtime routine, we're limiting screens. What about where we sleep? Does that make a difference?
Absolutely. It's not just about being comfortable, it's about making your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. What could be messing with your sleep? Is it dark enough? Is the temperature good? Any annoying sounds?
Right, so like blackout curtains, a white noise machine, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's about getting rid of those little distractions that can keep you from falling asleep or, wake you up during the night. And even small things like finding the perfect pillow or using a weighted blanket can help a lot, depending on the person.
It's amazing how much goes into a good night's sleep that we don't even think about. We've covered so much today, the science behind it all, practical tips to improve sleep.
And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. You don't have to change everything overnight. Pick one or two things that speak to you and go from there.
I love that progress over perfection, right? It's easy to get overwhelmed when we try to change too much at once.
Exactly. And go easy on yourself. Building new habits takes time. There will be nights where you don't sleep as well. But just by making sleep a priority and making those little changes, you're setting yourself up for more energy, clearer thinking, and a stronger immune system. It's a win-win.
So true. And as we wrap up this deep dive, any final thoughts for our listeners?
I'd say after learning all of this, try to see sleep not as something extra, but as a must-have for your well-being. Just like eating healthy or exercising, make sleep a part of your routine. Your brain and body will thank you for it.
Great advice. And for everyone listening, we'd love to hear what's working for you. What are your sleep challenges? Share your stories with us. Until next time, sweet dreams.